Hi, my name is Lee, and this is where I like to read. So, hi everyone. For anyone who didn't see my first video, which is honestly probably most of us, and that's completely okay. My name is Lee. I am just starting my booktube channel, and I was thinking that maybe I could go ahead and give you guys a little tour of my front room. The plan is kind of want to give you a little tour, a little, not really an update because I've never done it before, but kind of showing where I am in my library journey, talking about what I've done, what I still need to do. So this is the stairs to my upstairs over here. That's my front door behind me, and then over there is my library. And as you can see, it's definitely not done. There is a box right there with a light in it. And then on that shelf right there is where I keep a bunch of random junk because I don't need it yet. I'm sure you'll see my dogs in this video, and I talked about them in my first video, so you can go watch that if you want to know more about them, but they'll be here as well. They're all right there on the floor. So I just wanted to kind of start in front of my door because this is where you walk into the house, and this is kind of where you see things. And I'll just kind of like move my tripod around as I'm going and try to kind of explain what everything is. This is my front door, and you walk in. And so right now the plan for over here is I want to build a bench that will be a bench, obviously, but also will be a shoe rack because right now we just have shoes on the floor. That's not ideal at the moment. I have a rug here, a runner that goes to the living room. So this is kind of the entryway area. Okay, so yep, there he is. That's one of my dogs. They're literally all right here on the floor, but you can't really see them because they're on the floor. So we're just gonna start with this little area here. This is the front of my house, so that's my front yard. This shelf is just kind of random stuff right now, building stuff, extra fabric from when I was upholstering things. These are books that need to be either donated or taken to half price books or returned because my husband has a habit of buying books that we already own. So we do have a couple of books with receipts in them that need to go back to bookstores because we already own them, or we might just end up donating them. I don't know. Depends on what I want to do, what I feel like doing. Um, that light that you saw in the last area is actually right here, and that is to go over our kitchen table. We have a light there right now, but I want to switch it out. It was like the builder grade light that came with the house. We just moved in here in November. We're still working on switching things out, getting things the way we want them. I'm a big thrifter, so like the light fixtures that I have, I got for like $5 each from Habitat for Humanity. And then next to that, we have the bench. It has a cushion on the top that I made out of foam. I like cut foam to size. I upholstered it. I stapled it underneath. It's corduroy. I just have a couple of pillows over here. I think they're really cute. I got them at Goodwill a really long time ago. Stepping over my dogs, but they're like a mountain scene with like houses and stuff. I think they're really cute. I have two of them. So I'm going to show you how this opens. So it opens up. It opens up like this, and we actually keep all of our board games in here, which I think is pretty fun. So we have a lot of them. Hi, Lita. It is double-sided, so we can keep quite a lot of board games in there. My dogs are very interested right now. One of the sides is pretty much full, but the other side is pretty empty. Although the other side does have a as you can see, a vent. So that I had to boot it on the inside. There is like a big pipe in there. That's the AC. Oh my god, Lita. She's got her little head on there. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys up top. Okay, so I have just angled, see my hand? I have just angled the camera up so that you can see above the window. Up top, we have a curtain rod that does not have a curtain on it yet. I haven't done it yet. You might be able to see there are little swans on the ends of the curtain rods, and then there's just a shelf overhead over the window. So it's just one big long shelf, and there's nothing in there right now. I will say the shelves are not trimmed yet, so they're not completely done. They're pretty close to done, but they do need trim. You can see some kind of rough spots. A couple spots need the stain touched up, a couple spots need some wood filler, but we're pretty close. Okay, so then this is kind of the main area, I guess. You can see right here is a little chandelier that I had put in. It was like $5, like I said, from Habitat for Humanity. I really love it. It might be one of my favorite things about the room. So this is a corner shelf that I built. It's connected here in the corner. It has up top our nonfiction, and then here we have our graphic novels and manga. And then here I have all of my records for now. Things are probably going to change a little bit eventually. And then these two shelves are just kind of random stuff that doesn't really have a home yet, and then a little bit more there's a little bit more like construction stuff over here. Like here's my stick that I use to stir paint. So it's literally just a little piece of a 1x12 like a little strip of it that I cut off or something. So I use that to stir paint. And then here's like my sewing kit and just random stuff. And then on the last two shelves down here, I just have my textbooks from college, from high school, and then just like my yearbooks and big books that can't fit standing up. I have them sideways. Binders, notebooks, sketchbooks, that kind of stuff. Stuff that just like doesn't really belong anywhere. Coffee table books are down there. We do have a coffee table, but we don't put coffee table books on it, so. And then in the middle, you can kind of see my piano is there. It was my grandmother's piano, and she gave it to me when she moved into a retirement home and she didn't have space for it anymore. She wanted me to have it because I play. And then I just have some candlesticks here, some little crystal containers that I got. Just some little crystal containers that I got at Goodwill. I have two that don't have handles, and then I have one that does in the middle. They remind me of the kind of containers that like a grandmother would have like Werther's Originals in, or like hard candy of other kinds. There's nothing in mine. I don't really have anything to put in them. I guess I could put like, I don't know, colored beads or something. I don't know. Something decorative, but I don't have anything in them right now, and I honestly don't really think they need it, but that's fine. And then I also have, you can see on the other side, I have a bust with some flowers in it, and then I have another bust here, which I got these at TJ Maxx on clearance, this one and the other one. This is all fiction. It's actually the second half of my fiction collection. The rest of it is on the far shelf over there. So these two books right here that this is sitting on are books that I just got from a friend. He is letting me borrow them and read them. These are also borrowed from a friend. I don't integrate borrowed books into my shelving so that I know what's borrowed and what's mine. I think I would know what's mine, but just to be sure, just in case, I just don't put them with my books. I put them separately. The way that my library is organized, you'll see over on the other shelf, you can kind of see on the edge there, I have fancy books, what I call fancy books, which are like my leather bound, gold leafed books, my cloth bound Penguin Classics. It's mostly my classics, but I call them my fancy books. And then I have regular fiction, and then I have nonfiction, manga, graphic novels, and music. That's how I do it. My fiction is alphabetized by author last name, because I am of the opinion the only organization method is alphabetization by author last name. That is like my ride or die. This is how I do it. So, oh, also my plays. my plays are separate. They're right here. These were plays that I was in. But yeah, it goes, I think K is up at the top there, and then obviously my last one is Z. It's The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. So then here is the last part of the shelving. I have, like I said, my fancy books here, the top 4 shelves down to the center. I've got a little antique piggy. I love pig decor. I have I have a couple things that are pigs, and this is one of them. So he sits on my shelf. And then this is where my regular fiction starts. So, and then these right here need to be moved. I got a couple books back from my friend yesterday, and so he's had them for 2 years. So I had to reintegrate them into my shelving, and so those books were displaced. They need to be moved up there. Everything needs to shift. It's one of my favorite things to do is just shift my books when I get new books. I love redoing the shelves. It takes a while and I really like it. It's kind of a meditative experience for me. It's like calming. I really enjoy it. I was in the middle of it. These need to move up there. That is actually my shelving. That's all of it. So now I will just show you, I guess, my chair, and then I'll talk a little bit about where I want to expand, my next steps, what I'm planning. This is my chair that I just finished building. It is 52 inches from back to front, and then I believe it's 48 wide, so it's very wide. This is my reading chair. It's where I like to sit. I have it in the corner, so right there are shelves. I'm standing directly across from the window right now, so I have it kind of on the corner. And I have this column here. This is the column. And also, we have bulkheads. The thing about this room is that you could make it a library or an office or whatever. I guess it could even be a bedroom if you wanted. With our company that we built with, there was an option to close in this room. And we originally were it was going to be the office or the library, or kind of both. It was very expensive, and we are young, and we did not have the money to be doing fancy random things to our home. We did not have the money for that. We decided to leave it open. I actually ended up really enjoying the kind of open flowing nature of it, but I do not like the feeling of not having something behind me when I'm sitting in this chair. And this is pretty much the only balanced place that this chair can go. It needed something over here. Really, this was it. And like I said, I don't like the open nature of someone being able to walk up behind me, right? That's not something I'm interested in. I was thinking that I could put more shelving here, out to about here. It's about 3 feet. And then another one from this other side of the bulkhead, which is right here. You can't really see it because I'm off screen a little bit, out to, 3 feet out. And that would leave an entranceway, right? Okay. At the same time, making these shelves open on either side, and there's no door, it's just an opening to maintain some of that open flowing nature of the room that it currently has, while also providing kind of an all-around bookshelf feel. The other thing that I really like about it is that right now I don't have anywhere to put my record player on these shelves because it just doesn't fit. It opens too tall and it's too deep. So I was thinking that I could design the shelf here, or the other one. Either one is honestly fine. There's a outlet access near both. One of them could be designed to house my record player. And then I could also, design the shelves to be tall enough to comfortably fit my records as well, because they just barely fit that shelf that they're on. And then it would be open on either side so that you could access the record player, you could access the records, and it would be able to show off any of my books that have sprayed edges. That's what they're called. Whether they're gilded or fancy sprayed edge, limited edition versions of random books, whatever. It would be able to show off all of those sprayed edge books, which you don't usually get to see because I'm not a fan of the bookstore flipping books around. If you like it, that's fine. You're allowed to do whatever you want with your library, but I prefer a pretty classic library look where all of them are just spine facing out. That's just my vibe personally. So, it is kind of sad that I don't get to see the gilded edges or the sprayed edges or whatever in my library. So I thought, I think that this would be a really nice way to be able to kind of have both. And then also, I wanted to do another one from the other side of this pillar out and kind of make it a little bit longer to give the same kind of enclosed feeling. So that's kind of the vibe, that's kind of the plan. I even made the back of my chair tapered to be able to like settle into a corner and accommodate shelving. So that's kind of where we are right now. The other thing that I need to do is put in the trim for the bookshelves. Now, the shelves in here would also be smaller. Right now, I have the built-ins they're 8 feet tall because my ceilings are 8 foot. These, I believe, would only be like 6.5 or so, something like that. That's kind of where we are at the moment. I also need to get curtains, which I've talked about before. I need to get curtains for my front window and my back window, because if you can see, I don't have curtains back there either. Also, I'm sure you can see that my my living room is incredibly barren. This is not a full house tour or anything of that nature, but it is in the background and you can see that I have a mismatched sofa and ottoman. I have a weird coffee table. We have a TV on the wall. I have some stuff on that wall right there. It's barren back there. It's a wasteland. I am planning to do some more projects for that to kind of give it a little more life, give it a little more personality. The walls are painted. I have everything painted a combination of cream and green right now. And I really, really like it. I do. I'm hoping to give everything as much life and character as I've given to the front room because I've put a lot of work and time and effort into this room. Not a ton of money, honestly. This room has cost me, I want to say, I think less than 1,500. I think it was about 800 to do all the shelving, and then maybe it's only been like 1,000 because this chair only cost me like $250 to build. And most of that was the fabric. I would say 40% of the cost to build this chair was the fabric. It wasn't too expensive at all, especially it's completely built of 2x4s. So the wood itself was very cheap. I think it was like $30. Definitely possible to do this stuff on a budget. It's very fun, I think, if you want to do it yourself. And I talked about this before, but you can do it, I'm sure. So, like I said, I just need to trim it out and then the bookshelves will be done. I will say I also have them completely floor to ceiling. I cut out the carpet and everything, so they're sitting on the subfloor. They are anchored to the heavens. There are so many screws holding these to the walls. I have a massive amount of L brackets holding them together and holding them to the walls. I could climb them. An earthquake would not bring them down. It is completely stable. I would love to make a video for you guys showing you how I build the shelves, especially if I'm going to make more shelves. I can show you what I use, my favorite screws. I do have a favorite screw. I have favorite screws and I have favorite stain as well. I really like the tools that I use. I can show you guys what I have. They were very inexpensive. I would be more than happy to do that. And let me know if that's something that you would be interested in. Well, I'm so glad that you guys could come hang out with me and see my home library, or at least what I have of it so far. And until next time, I'll be here reading.